be here and give you answers to the questions. Thank you, Rishi. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience. Thank you all for joining us session today. And very quickly, we'll go to a next session. I would like to invite Subhajit. Subhajit, I hope Subhajit and Ashish is here. So I'd like to directly invite them. Their topic is approach for finding critical vulnerabilities. So yes, Subhajit, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much for inviting me here. I'll just present my screen. Just give me a moment. All right. So, my screen is visible?
Yes.
Hello? All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining here. And today I'm going to talk about the key points that you should not forget in your bug hunting or in a black box pen testing. So we'll look into the attack surface area and where most people ignore actually. And we'll see how easy to exploit them because they are already present in the application and we forgot to look into that other side of it. So first thing we're going to talk about the approach, then we'll look into some of the real world examples that we have submitted in our bug bounty programs. So it will give you a crystal clear example like what we are going to talk about. So as self-introduction, I'm a author of a research paper called Enhance the Privacy in a Tor Network. Also achieved some CVs, recent CVs, do some bug bounties, red teaming, also OSINT, and I'm a huge open source contributor. And these are my social handles, Shubhajit0x, and shubhajit.com is my blog where I post over there. So I'll talk about the approach. The first thing is in black box pen testing, where you have no idea what the product is all about, or basically you don't have any information about the target, right? So you have to go for the content discovery. First thing we do with content discovery is finding the files, folders, and what are the hidden files are there, so that we can find some good sensitive information disclosure, and also we can we can have a good clear picture like what are the services are running in the target machine. Second, go for the specific ports, and here many of the people I saw, they don't go scanning for the specific subdomains. They just go with the main domain, scan with the nmap, and they just forgot to scan the subdomains and other services that have been running. So they are just looking into the content discovery. They're mostly focused into that. So it doesn't work like that. We'll talk about like how effective it is for running a scanner and looking into the services in each subdomains. We'll talk about it. Look for the empty directories. You'll find a lot of information over there. Don't ignore status code like 301 redirections, or you're getting some 403, 404. So just try to dig into it. I mean, wherever you get an error, you are in the right way. So try to dig into it. And Google is your best friend, obviously, as you can learn how to create docs. So you can particularly specify your specific docs into a Google, and you can find more information about your target. Do some GitHub Recon. In GitHub, many of the developers, embeds their keys, passwords into their programs, and they forget to remove it from their programs or projects. Look into Pastebin. Yes, Pastebin is also highly informative. If you have some good links regarding your target, it should be giant tech companies. You have to so that it will be in the Pastebin pace, or else the small companies, you won't get so much of information in Pastebin. And Shodan is a gold mine. Obviously, there are a lot of public open services which have been indexed, and companies have no idea their services are being indexed by the search engines. So Shodan is a great place to find a lot of vulnerable and open applications. So last thing I will say, automate your Recon. I see a lot of people just go to YouTube, watch some Recon videos, and they try to just copy the same approaches. It doesn't work like that. They're having their own approaches, and you should discover your own approaches to. So first thing is you should learn is the bash. Learn bash, try to automate the things as much as possible, because what I do actually, I'm also an intern at a company. So what I do, I made my whole approach into a bash. So I just run it into my VPS, and in morning I just put starts my scanner, my bash script, or go through a lot of scans, it produce a lot of results, and by the evening I just get back to my home and I dig into all those results. So it really helps you, really saves a lot of your time. So we'll look into some real world examples as we don't have so much of time. So we'll look into some of the examples, and we can learn some kind of lesson from those reports. So first thing I want to talk about is the unauthenticated Elasticsearch takeover that I have just found some 3 to 4 months ago. So I was running Nmap scan in a lot of subdomains. I was trying to look into what are the services they are basically running. So I saw there was a running service in port 9200, and when I started my burp and fired up my burp and tried to send a request in that particular port, I just saw that in my response I'm getting some information which is a sensitive information disclosure, because I'm getting all their cluster name and everything. So I got to know there is something running. So the second thing I did is Google, because Google is a best friend, right? So I saw this is running a Elasticsearch, and I jumped into the Elasticsearch API documentation. I read about it, what are the endpoints they have, or how they design their APIs. So I try to look into, grab those endpoints and try to look into my target machine. And suddenly I got, indices, which is indexes, what are the things that are in the server. So I got a GitLab production server basically, and some of their other files that I have to hide it here for some purpose. And so this is the endpoint, and you can also search for a specific data. If you found an unauthenticated Elasticsearch takeover, Elasticsearch service, you can also search a specific data with this endpoint. Email, username, phone number in their DB. So using that endpoints _all_search q equal to email, or you can just go with the phone number and everything. So that will fetch a lot of things, and that landed us some 4-digit bounty. So the conclusion here is always read the documentation and related posts. See, I didn't bang my head for a deep exploitation here. Just a small Google search helped me, landed me some good bounty. So you have to look, just as like Anurag said, you just have to understand the product. You have to understand what are the security mechanism. Then only you can find vulnerabilities, right? Just by using a scanner or tools, finding a vulnerabilities doesn't mean you just use your skill. You just use the tools for finding those vulnerabilities. So use your skill, understand what are the security mechanisms, do some code reviews, understand and like an end user what the functionalities we are having in this application. So like this, you just need to find the secure endpoints or secure insecure things running on the server. You don't need to always go for the exploitation. So this is the first lesson that we have learned from this report. Next, let's go to another Elasticsearch service takeover. So I was, as I told you, so I was running an Nmap scan into, I just put my subdomain list into Nmap, and it scans. It takes time, but it scans all the subdomains and gives me a lot of information, quite good information. So I saw a subdomain was running a 3000 port, and I opened up my browser and I just fired up my burp also and tried to send a request in that particular subdomain. And I saw they were running and redirecting me to a login page. And then you can see it's having a URI. In the URI, you can see scheduler is running. So what is a scheduler? I had no idea at that time because I was not too much into Elasticsearch and all this. So I just Googled it. Simple thing. I just Googled it, scheduler, and I want to understand what it is all about. So I went to the scheduler, and I saw this is a pretty good application, helps in data analytics and data mining for the Elasticsearch. It gives you a good representation. So I started to look into the login page view source. And once I started going through each line, I saw there are a lot of in a lot of places I it's mentioned slash home the endpoint. So I thought let's try with burp. So I just requested the slash home, and it was making a post request, and I saw the request was going through like this. And the shield plugin, there's a plugin they were using in the Kibana. So Kibana is basically another service. I don't want to go into that because we don't have time for that. So it was running a plugin which is known as shield plugin, and with the request, we saw a response. It was exposing a lot of usernames, password, and their everything, which in a local host URL. I mean, you can literally get into their system by using this plugin, as it is exposing a lot of information, right? So you don't. So this is the same thing. You don't need to always go to the through the exploitations, or you don't need to go through those coding steps. Just a small logic, like you have to understand what the product is doing. Think differently, think out of the box. What are the endpoints, and how we can use these endpoints to get into the application or find some cool sensitive information, right? So this also landed us some good bounty, and it was a recent thing, so it was quite interesting to find those kind of easy exploiting these plugins. So next thing is SSRF to RCE. I'll hand over this slide to Ashish. So Ashish, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Okay. Okay, you can start presenting your screen.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, you are.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, just hold on. Give me a moment. Okay, so can you guys see my home? Hello?
yes, we can.
Yes,
Okay.
you can see your screen.
Okay, so first of all, thank you, Suvajit, for passing me this, and thank you, Hackersmeetup, for giving us opportunity. Okay, so a bit about myself. My name is Ashish Kunwar. I'm an independent security researcher, a web application penetration tester. Yes, I first binaries for fun, and a few of the stuff which I found in Nano and Ziptif, the memory lakes, which I found using AFL fuzzer. And then there is a recent CVE been assigned for the iSpy cam, which is for CVE 2021-3093. And there are some recent 0 days me and Subhajit have found in a proxy manager, and few issues in TestLink web application, and in a similar software similar to SAP, which I've reported about 8 to 10 0 days vulnerabilities. And you can find me on Twitter at the Docker Devil. So as Subhajit has already been going through the approach, so this gives a quite overlook and give you an idea to go through your recon, how you can, what stuff you can go through, what things to look for. This is just an overlook for giving an idea. Okay, so this particular vulnerability is quite interesting to find. This was a ghost script RC, which I didn't knew until I did a bit of research. So there was a private bug bounty program. I was testing for the profile image upload. So what happened is I uploaded a PNG file, and after uploading, I downloaded the file from the link. And after taking a look at the source code of that, I found there has been a string called ext date modify, which has changed the date and the time at the time it was processing. So this gave me a basic idea that the backend was actually using the image map. So as already given up here, after analyzing the source code, it was found that an interesting string ext modify resided in it. It was observed that the server converted the pictures with image magic or graphics magic, whatever you call, but that did not add the dash script command line. So therefore, it just gave me a plain text for that particular string. So this gave me a idea. Okay, so after looking at that into the information, I did a quick Google about the information in that, and I tried with the image magic payloads, but none of them worked. Maybe they have patched for that one, but so at that time the ghost script was really wide into the wild, and I took time and looked into that. I sent it a payload which was time based blind, and I was shocked to see that I have given a 12-second time delay, and I got in the response of the 12 seconds. So this confirmed that there was a ghost script vulnerability present. So after going through and playing around a bit, and after that I sent it this, as you can see in this image here, this is the exploit I created for the ghost script, which read the password file, which uses the verb collaborator as an out of bound search. So this was basically the out of band, data smuggling, which I did. And with this same approach, I found a lot of remote code executions in different web applications. So I would say to use Bob Collaborator almost everywhere. You don't know what happens in the background. Okay, so this landed us into a really good bounty. After reporting this, it took them about maybe a month to fix the vulnerability, and after that, I found a few more couple of issues. Like there was another issue which where I uploaded uh, a really big image file. It was mostly looked like black, but used a lot of pixel DDoS attack vulnerability, which I found, which upon uploading it, the almost all of the space of the server. So after that, that also resulted me into a really good bounty. As you can see here in the image, I was able to get the whole password directory using wget. Okay, so this particular vulnerability I found about a year ago, which unfortunately landed me onto a really big bounty, about maybe a 5-digit. So this is about a VPN service which I found during the Recon. I put a lot of subdomains into the list into the Nmap scan, and it found a port 500 which was running on UDP port actually, and it was a SKMP, or it is a IPsec IKE VPN service. So for that, I did a bit of Google and I came across a few resources. So now we go through the exploitation part. So what I did is I downloaded the IKE probe for Windows, and I put the IP address, and as you can see in on the right side on the image, it shows the system is vulnerable to aggressive modes, secret share leakage weakness. So after that, what I did was try to dump the whole IKE hash file through the handshake, and then try cracking that hash to get the password. So with this command, I was able to dump the whole hash, and with that hash, what I did was use the rocky.txt file and brute force the hash using this command over here. This utility comes pre-installed in Kali Linux and all other security distros you can find on the internet. So I use the PSK crack with this tag D, and I use the default rocky.txt. You can use almost any password cracking file you can find on the internet and use that here, and then the IKE hash file. So let it run from this might take a lot of time depending on how the big your password dictionary list is. And once you found that you have found the password, you can use it to connect. You can use the IPsec service, which also comes pre-installed in almost all the distros. You can use it to connect to the VPN service. So for that, you have to edit the ipsec.secrets file in the /etc and just put the password you have cracked and then restart the service using this command over here, ipsec restart, and start the xl x12 tpd start. This command will restart another service and then use this ipsec auto up vpn. This command will connect you to the VPN, and after that you can run your own bash command and find out the live IP addresses. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Okay. So with that, you can actually go inside the server and map out the entire services and the IP addresses which are live. So this way you can take over the whole server and the internal systems to this particular vulnerability. I know most of you have found or may find this particular issue or this particular port or don't know about this issue. So this can really help you into landing into a really good bounty. Now let me go back here, and I would like to add few more stuff in this approach part. Sorry for that. So this part over here, I would like to say specify your own ports. Okay, create your own custom port list if you want to find some uniquely and fastly some unique ports. Just like here, like 445 is for 445, and there is 4 times 2. This is 222 and 2, which runs the SSL SSH. Then the direct admin panel is also can be found on this port. Then there was the 9200 Elasticsearch port, and there's 500 for SKMP service. This is the 336 where you can find the MariaDB and MySQL service. And if you are doing the content discovery, you should look out for the .env files, because the developers, most of the time developers forgot to remove this particular file, because this contains the developer and the production environment credentials during the time of the testing or when they are moving stuff here and there. So with that, recently I found this .env file. If you have gone through my Twitter, I found this, and I use those database credentials to log into their connect to their MySQL server, and with that I was able to dump all of their MySQL database and report it. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, if you would like to ask to us.
Yes, we can have some. I mean, we have 5 to 10 minutes in our hands. So if you have any question, let us know. We can give you some.
So yes, if you have any questions, you can comment your question in chat box, and they are still here for like next 5 to 10 minutes. So they can be here and give you answers to the questions.